Hello. So, I was just listening to Michael Singer as I do, and let me see if I can. Does that's a little bit better. And I wanted to talk about something that he was just talking about, especially as it's Easter, and it's the time where Christians transcend sin, right? Or Jesus, obviously transcended humanness and sin. Anyway, that's not neither here nor there. I just wanted to talk about this idea about when you are starting on the path of like self development, self change, when you start having realizations about yourself, and deciding that what I'm doing right now isn't working, and I need to do something else. And you decide, like, I am not going to allow the outside circumstances to dictate how I'm feeling, and I am not going to wait until the outside circumstances are exactly as I need them to be happy, right? Because again, let's review. If we keep trying to change the outside to match what the crap is going on in the inside, you're never going to be happy. If you have to wait until what's outside, until you make what's outside match what it has to be to inside to make you happy, you're never going to be happy, ever. And you'll constantly be trying to change things that there's a good chance you can't change. Anyway, when you decide I'm going to stop doing that and allow things, especially like starting with the low hanging fruit, right? You're in traffic and someone pisses you off or whatever. When these emotions come and you decide, I'm not going to let those dictate my inner state, and you kind of like relax, you take a deep breath, you relax, you release, and you just watch what's going on. You don't have to change what's going on in there. This is the thing. You feel like you have to change what's going on inside, and you don't. And if you keep trying, you'll never get there. What's going on inside is what's going on inside, and you have to accept it first if you want to transcend it, right? You have to accept that's what's going on. So you have to allow yourself to feel those feelings. And when you start doing that, the energy, this was this is what I wanted to talk about. Michael Singer was saying, like, the urge to go back to trying to make the outside match the inside will be there. In Thich Nhat Hanh, Buddhism would call it habit energies, right? And it struck me because one of the things Michael Singer says is, like, you want to get off that horse because it's not going to take you where you want to go. And one of the things that has always struck me in Understanding the Buddha, or whatever that book is called, by Thich Nhat Hanh, is he talked about habit energies as he kind of related this old Zen story. And what it is like, this guy was on the side of the road. I'm going to say lady. This lady was on the side of the road, and she sees this horse barreling towards her down the road, and it's just like coming like a crazy pace, like fast, and the rider is like riding really hard. And as they come up, the lady yells out, "Hey, where are you going? Like, where are you going so fast?" And the guy looks back at her and says, "I don't know, ask the horse." That's just like the funniest thing to me. It's really funny. And that's what these habit energies are doing, right? When we decide, all right, what's happening on the outside and what's happening on the inside is what's happening, and I'm just going to observe it and just watch it and take a deep breath, relax my body, let it go, right? When we relax and release, that's called letting it go. And we do it as often as we have to in order to let the feeling do its thing and pass. But when we start doing that, the urge to go back to trying to fix the world around us to make us happy is strong, and everybody else is doing it, and you're going to want to do it. You're going to want to be like, it's a very strong pull. And what we need to do there, because what that is our human nature, right? This is the human nature thing, right? We are actually our consciousness. We are our soul, right? We are our consciousness. We are the being who's observing everything outside and inside. Everything outside and inside is other than our being because we can observe it, right? We can observe what's going on inside of us. So the human that is built around our consciousness, has desires and wants to do certain things, and you're going to be miserable if you go along with it. You just are. Life is not going to ever be what you want it to be. It's never. If life has to be what you want it to be, then you're never going to be happy. You have to be able to be happy no matter what's going on outside and what's going on inside, because when you experience something inside that's uncomfortable, it's uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable. I hate it. I'm working towards the point, though, where I'm going to embrace it, because that's what we should be doing. This is the human experience, right? This is the human experience, and we should embrace the heart. And I'm just saying that we should transcend our humanness, but we have a heart, we have a mind, right? Again, they're not who we are. They are what we are observing. And the more that you allow yourself to experience the heart, the more you are getting out of the time between your birth and the time between your death, right? That's all we have. That's all we really truly have. The time before, the time of our birth to the time of our death. What are we going to do with it? Are we going to spend it trying to make everything else match what's going on inside? Or are we going to just be like, hey, this is pretty cool. I've got this consciousness that is a direct link to the source, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. I am the universe made conscious of itself. And that is incredible. That's just that blows my mind. My human mind blows it completely. And I'm going to enjoy this time that I've been given as much as I can. I'm going to experience everything that I can. I'm going to thank people. Like, for instance, this experience I'm going through with my housemates. I am working real hard. I'm working real hard to transcend my humanness on this one. Because there's a lot of anger there that I'm working on. I'm allowing to be there. This is what I mean by working on. I'm allowing it to be there, right? It's just that I am working on not getting caught up in it and not identifying with it, right? I'm not identifying with anger. I am feeling fear. I am feeling feelings of anger. I am not angry, right? I'm not the emotion. So I'm working on distancing myself from the emotion that I'm having. Not distancing myself, but leaning a little bit away and watching it and experiencing it, just allowing myself to experience the anger. And the thing is, when you do that, that means you don't have to necessarily act out. You really don't want to act out of that anger, right? You want to experience it. Don't push it away, because that will make it stay. Don't try and avoid it, because that will make it stay. And you also, the stress that goes along with trying to avoid it or trying to change it it's really, when you let go of that stress, it's great. It's like, oh, there was a whole level of stress there that I didn't even realize I was putting on myself, because I thought that I had to make this situation different. I thought that I had to have this be different. There's a level of stress that goes away that you'll be like, oh, wow, things are a lot easier. It becomes a lot easier to feel your feelings when you're not trying to not feel your feelings, if that makes sense. It's obvious, right? But it's a thing. So with my windows open, some people downstairs might hear me, so I'm gonna be a little bit quiet right now. So with the situation with my housemate, I'm feeling lots of anger about it and lots of indignance. But I don't want to operate out of that space, because it will only make things worse. So I am working on transcending my humanness, and instead of addressing him from that place where I feel justified, in my anger and justified and I am justified, whatever, I'm justified in feeling angry, I'm justified in feeling indignant, but I'm not justified in acting out of that place. So to transcend my humanness, my plan with him is to address myself to the light in him, right? Light in me recognizes the light in you. And that is what I'm going to adjust myself to, because all the stuff that he has surrounded, all the humanness that he has surrounded himself with, is not something I want to talk to, and not something I want to deal with. It's what's caused the anger. So I'm going to address myself to the light. I'm going to have my light address his light. And we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I won't get taken away by the horse of habit energy. I am hoping that, not hoping, I am going to transcend that, and that's going to be the way it is. So I just wanted to come out here and give you that sort of message right now, because also, you know, if you're a Christian or you live with a Christian family, you know, you're gonna go, oh, you know, right now it's Ramadan, and it was Passover, right? It's also Passover, so there's lots of holidays going on right now, and so, you know, you might be going to your families, and someone in your family might really get your goat. There is a particular person in my family who gets my goat. I don't know that she'll be there. I think she's avoiding me. So I don't think she'll be there, and that's a different story. But should she show up, I'm going to take a deep breath, relax and release, and address her light. And I think that'll be really important. Anyway, with this situation downstairs, with this housemate, I can be grateful for it, because what it's doing is, number one, I had to defend myself and start saying, like, all the good things about myself. Like, dude, like, this is who you're taking advantage of. You're taking advantage of someone who does this, who's like this, who does this, who's like this. And when I started saying those things, I'm like, I am like that. And that's pretty cool. And I like that. So I like myself. So it made me like myself more. And then I also had the chance, I mean, it's an extreme situation, to get me to stand up for myself. Kind of it can be, not all the time, but in a situation like this, it's like an extreme situation. And I stood up for myself, and it felt really good, and I felt like I deserved it, which is a really great thing, because that's not always how I feel about myself. Or it wasn't always. We're watching our language, right? It wasn't always how I felt about myself. So yeah, sorry, I was thinking about something else. I also, I'm setting boundaries and learning to set boundaries earlier in a situation, so it doesn't get to this point where I have to come down and set some boundaries that are like not comfortable for me. It's not something I want to do, and you know, it's not comfortable for them either. You know, I let him walk all over my boundaries, and now I'm putting the boundaries back up and enforcing them, and it's not going to be a pleasant experience for either one of us. So again, transcending the humanness, that's what I'm going to try and keep in mind this Easter Sunday as I go over to my family's, and I'm really excited about seeing my niece and my nephew. They have, like, it's good feelings. There's good feelings there. It's funny, if you start paying attention to your feelings, your heart energy field, like, you really do feel it. It's like, oh wow, that was a shift. I thought about my niece and my nephew. I was thinking about the situation here and the guy that I got to talk to and set boundaries with, and then I switched to thinking about my niece and my nephew, and like the field of energy changed, like, really obviously to me now that I'm paying more attention to it. Like, it's like, oh, I relaxed, like my heart opened, I felt happier. So, and one of the things that we are working on, right, is keeping our heart open at all times, because when you do that, you're not, you know, once you've established yourself in the seat of self, meaning you're watching all the stuff going on and you're allowing it to happen. Not that you don't deal with the situation, you just don't deal with it from a place of an emotion that's not useful. You know, when you're working on that, you become established in the seat of self. So you never leave the seat of self where you are in the moment and watching what's going on inside as much as you're watching what's going on outside, paying attention. Once that happens, it takes a little while, I guess. This is what I'm hearing. This is what my understanding of this is you know, you relax and release, and eventually, you know, you let go of all these blocks that you've put in the way of the energy that's there to flow naturally, that flows through you, because you are the universe made conscious of itself. You are the universe, and the point is for your energy to flow up. You know, and it does that naturally. So when we remove those blocks and the energy flows up, the feeling of our heart being open, which is the feeling of liking something, is always there, right? That's why we decide we like something, because it allows our heart to open. You know, it doesn't hit our stuff it hits our stuff in the way that is okay. Our heart opens and we're happy. Our heart closes and we're upset. So work on the opening of the heart, transcend the humanness. So yeah, I am allowing that to happen. I'm feeling that, I'm observing it. And I am working on not getting caught up in my humanness, but rather transcending that habit energy, transcending the desire that's, you know, the energy. It is an energy that's pulling me back down to wanting to behave in a human manner, which is, you know, behave in a way that is a reaction out of my emotions and thoughts that we have to make the world be as we want it. Because it is an energy that pulls you back down there. It's you gotta resist it. You gotta, well, not even resist, right? You gotta let go of it. You're just like, okay, that's there. All the stuff, you don't try and make it go away. You just acknowledge that it's there. It's there. That's there. Okay. Yeah, I really don't want to let go of this. That's okay. That's okay that I don't want to. I'm just gonna let go of it anyway. So that's my message, my Easter message, my Ramadan message, my Passover. Let the emotions pass over you here, right? And for Easter, let us transcend our humanness the way, you know, God transcended sin and death, which, you know, there's a parallel there. Passover, right? We have the angel of death passing over ourselves, right? We have that. We are allowed to, we're letting all that stuff pass over us. And then Ramadan, I do not know what Ramadan is about. And I should. But I'm going to go ahead and assume that it's something within the Abrahamic religions, right? Christianity and Judaism and Islam. They're all different, honestly, different branches of the same Abrahamic tradition, right? The same Abrahamic, no matter how screwed up it gets, believe it or not, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam are siblings from the same father, Abraham, and they should get along, you know. But anyway, nope, that is a different conversation. Anyway, because it's about transcending things, and the Christian and the Jewish tradition here is about transcending or allowing things to pass over, or, you know, bringing yourself out of that sin and death, right? Which is really about it's really about storing these experiences, holding on to our junk, and allowing it to run our lives. Because you want that to run your life? I don't want it to run my life. So that's what we're doing. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look it up. I am going to look it up. But I'm going to say that Ramadan has something to do with that, because that would make sense. But that's an assumption. So we'll go find out what it is, and maybe I'll let you know. Anyway, that's what I'm hoping for you all, is that you are able to transcend your humanness, transcend the desire to change what's going on around you to match what you want it to be, just because it's what you want it to be. You know what I mean? Like, if it's a bad situation, yeah, you have to do something to change it. But, you know, if you allow whatever it is, it's still in a bad situation. You have to accept it as it is and allow it to be, and relax and release, right? So I'm wishing and praying for you out there to be able to do that. Relax and release, not get dragged down by your habit energy, allowing things to pass over you. And I'm going to figure out what Ramadan is, really, and I'm going to do an analogy based on that, right? I'm gonna make some, and now the word's gonna escape me, some parallels between what I'm talking about and what's going on for Ramadan, because that's what I want to do, and that's what I'm gonna do. So anyway, I'm gonna finish up, right? And I'm gonna find, one day I will find a better way to segue into this, but I want to remind you all that you can always choose to have a grateful day.